It is now time to talk about my top 10 favorite Creed fragrances in my collection. Today we are in the house with the House of Creed. Creed is a niche fragrance company that makes very high-end, expensive fragrances, a lot of them showcasing the note of ambergris. If you are new to fragrances, you most likely call all men's fragrances colognes. Creed fragrances are not colognes, and of all the Creed fragrances I own, these are my top 10 picks. My number 10 Creed is Green Irish Tweed. GIT, as it's known colloquially, has existed for a few decades at this point, and it is a gentlemanly fragrance that uses a lot of lemon verbena and violet leaf. The more modern formulations do showcase more verbena than the violet leaf, but it is an uplifting fresh green fragrance that sometimes draws comparisons to Davidoff Cool Water. So much so that when I wear this, sometimes people think I'm wearing that super basic fragrance. It's a wonderful springtime fragrance that works really nicely in the summer as well. But it's only number 10 because I have other fragrances in my collection that smell the same and perform the same for less. Also, for some reason, the novelty kind of wore off once I owned Green Irish Tweed, and I haven't really been wearing it at all. So I couldn't rank it any higher than number 10. My number 9 Creed fragrance in my collection is Virgin Island Water. This fragrance is beautiful, in theory. I love the way this smells with its coconut heavy, lime, pina colada type of feel right off the bat. And as it dries down, it becomes a little more boozy, a little bit sweeter. It's extremely true to its name because this is a vacation fragrance through and through. As much as I like the opening, the dry down is a bit non-existent. I get about 3 to 4 hours of performance with this. On my skin, it is the weakest performing Creed fragrance. Part of the reason why it's only at number 9, because it just doesn't last very long. I also think that this fragrance is very unisex. In fact, it smells even better on my girlfriend than it does on me. Number 9. At number 8, we have Himalaya. Himalaya is one of the most versatile fragrances because it's a signature scent-worthy musk, sandalwood, bergamot fragrance that has this really cool, contemporary, fresh, metallic feel. This is in the same genre as Platinum Egoist by Chanel. It is one that you can wear on virtually every occasion. This is one of the reasons I stopped wearing Platinum Egoist, because as soon as I got this, I just kept wanting to reach for this rather than that. However, I only put it at number 8 because, yeah, Paco Rabanne XS smells very similar, although a little bit more linear, and of course, no signature ambergris, but at a much lower price, you can get something that smells pretty similar in the air. But us Creed connoisseurs can tell the difference. That was Himalaya. At number 7, we have Selection Vert. Now, this is the only decant on this list because you can only get this fragrance in the flacons. They don't have any retail bottles that you can get, unless if you luck out and find a tester, which I have been looking for relentlessly. Selection Vert came out in 1901, so it doesn't necessarily smell very modern, because it isn't. The dry down is a fairly classic eau de cologne style of dry down, but it's the opening that blows my mind. This has one of the best citrus openings I've ever smelled. Even though it's called Selection Vert, it's not really overly green. It has mint, which is green, but more importantly, it has a very strong, vibrant, and bright lime note. It smells like you just freshly squeezed lime and sprinkled some mint in. It's really, really beautiful opening. But the reason it's not higher is because availability is an issue on this, and the dry down is a little bit dated, a bit generic, classic, but nothing crazy unique. At number 7, Selection Vert. My number 6 Creed fragrance is Tabarom Milla Sol. Tabarom is a really cool, unique fragrance because it is a fresh tobacco fragrance. Fresh tobacco balanced with ginger. It has a really zesty, slightly spicy accord that performs incredibly well. Of all my Creed fragrances, Tabarom kills it. It just has amazing projection, Longevity is extremely good as well. It always goes more than 12 hours on my skin. It also doesn't really smell like anything else in my collection. It has a very, very unique smell. This is a great choice for the people out there that want to be a little bit different, that don't just want to reach for King Aventis, that want something a bit more specialized, perhaps a little more catered to the fall weather. The reason I have it on number 6, however, is because the reason it's not in the top 5 is because it's still a tobacco fragrance. So it's not necessarily something you could easily reach for when it's really hot outside. I have worn it in the warm weather, and it does work, but not nearly as well as some of the lighter Creed fragrances. At number 6, Tabaron Millésime. And just making it into the top 5 is Millésime Impérial. So unlike Tabaron Millésime, Millésime Impérial is very, very fresh. Unapologetically so. Fresh, vibrant fruits and salty ambergris. It's a really, really nice balance of those two. The gold motif suits it because it was designed for royalty after all. And the balance in here is executed beautifully. If you didn't know, when sweet notes and fragrances heat up on your skin, they get even sweeter, which makes some sweet fragrances not suitable for the warm weather. But what's nice about Millésime is the saltiness. The saltiness really, really helps balance out that sweetness to make sure it's always in check no matter how hot the temperature gets. However, it's only number 5 on my Creed list because performance, again, not the greatest, and Love and Luck, and John Unforgivable, say what you want, they're very, very good alternatives, and they're a lot cheaper. Number 5, Millésime Impérial. My number 4 Creed fragrance is Royal Oud. Royal Oud is Creed's attempt at a Western oud fragrance. Being a French company, they haven't really dabbled with Middle Eastern perfumery, which includes the note of agarwood. Royal Oud, however, is so Western that there isn't really any detectable oud in it. It's more so cedarwood with a little bit of sandalwood as well. There's also a lovely spicy cinnamon quality in Royal Oud that really works very nicely with woods. But there's also a citrus accent with the use of bergamot that makes it light and very Creed-like. While most people will tell you this is only good for the winter, I have worn this in the summer and I got a compliment with it. Perhaps it was a fluke, but I think if you apply this very lightly, the bergamot there is just enough to keep it airy. It isn't very heavy, but it is a very strong fragrance. So be careful with your spraying when the temperature is warmer. I only have it at number 4 though because my top 3 are bangers. Number 4, Royal Oud. My number 3 Creed fragrance is Sublime Vanille. Sublime Vanille is one of the old expensive Creed fragrances, and I got a flacon of the sprayable variety. This is a fragrance that is rather simple. It's a lovely high quality vanilla paired with a lovely high quality citrus. In classic Creed fashion, even the fragrances that should only really be worn in cold weather are wearable in the warm weather because of that balance. Sweet vanilla is not a summer note at all, but it's made wearable in the summer because of the citruses that are incorporated in here. Although Sublime Vanille does tend to lean feminine, I do get lots of compliments with this when I wear it. I truly believe it's unisex, right down the middle. It's a timeless fragrance that can be worn by anyone as long as you got the balls, or the lack thereof. I only have it at number 3 because of the price point. Not only is this a very expensive fragrance, but you can get another fresh vanilla fragrance in the form of Eau d'Oeil by Diptyque, and it does something similar for a lot less money.
Boy, if you don't get...
Number 3, Sublime Vanille. My number 2 favorite Creed fragrance is Creed Aventis. How can you not like Aventis? Extreme versatility, very nice smelling, and a huge compliment getter. Aventis has pineapple, musk, vanilla, oak moss, a beautiful blend of dark masculine notes mixed with some likable stuff. So people aren't going to be scared off. They're going to be drawn to you. Ooh, you smell so good, but manly, but nice and approachable. Kind of has everything. When Aventis was first released, it took the fragrance world by storm, especially for niche heads. But since then, it has been imitated by countless people, by countless houses, and unfortunately, it's getting to Dior Sauvage level of popularity. Now, even though there are dozens of Aventis wannabes out there, nothing is quite like the original, because once you've smelled Aventis, The others are not quite as good. Better value maybe, but I just don't want to wear them if I have this. The main reason it's number 2 is because it is fairly common now, and I just have a soft spot for my number 1. I really do. That was the king. And my personal number 1 favorite Creed fragrance in my collection is Original Santal. This is the first Creed fragrance that I had ever smelled, and I fell in love with it. Original Santal introduced me to niche perfumery. Its slightly synthetic, berry-like take on sandalwood really captivated me. It wasn't like anything I'd ever smelled before in my life, and to this day, it puts a massive smile on my face whenever I smell it. It is my favorite Creed fragrance to wear because it reminds me of where I started and where I've come in this whole fragrance addiction.
Are you sure about that?
It just brings me back to my humble beginnings, starting this whole fragrance hobby and this YouTube channel. It really means a lot to me.
Ha! Gay!
Original Santal is not the most original fragrance. It's not the most versatile Creed out there. It's not even the best performing fragrance, but it's my favorite. At number 1, Original Santal. And that's that, everyone. For those of you who don't already know, this list has just been my opinion. Get your own. If you're really mad that Aventis was second, let me know how mad you are in the comments below. And while you're at it, tell me what your favorite Creed fragrance is. If you want to see more top 10s, you can click right here, or some other top 5 lists from before down there. It's all for you guys.